Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be going over a few basic things that I like to do to make nutrition a lot easier for me, whether I am on a weight loss phase or trying to eat healthy. So the week tends to be very busy, and just taking a few minutes out of your day, for example on a Sunday, and prepping in advance is going to make the rest of your week a lot easier. So for me, I don't technically meal prep meals, but I like to food prep. So I like to prep certain things in bulk. That way throughout the week, I have something that's just easy that I can put together on a plate. And I also don't prep for the whole week just because it kind of grosses me out having veggies and protein in the fridge for too long. So I usually like to prep for 3 days. Wednesday, I make it a priority to do another mini prep. And then Friday, I like to do another mini prep. In the description below, I have a link on how you can download my Smart Food Prep Guide. So let me go ahead and walk you through things I'm going to prep. So veggies are super important when you are trying to eat healthy or in your weight loss phase. So here I have bell peppers and tomatoes that I can just add to salads. I will also be cutting up cucumbers. Then I do have things that are already kind of cut for you, so that way I don't have to spend the time. So I do have broccoli here that I'm going to steam. Another thing that I have bought that it's already done for you is like lettuce. I don't have to worry about cutting the lettuce or anything like that. And then I'm going to prep potatoes. So I like to put my potatoes in the air fryer, but lately I noticed that even cutting them feels like a lot of work for me. Having a 4-month-old means like my time is very limited. When he's trying to nap, I am really trying to catch up with work. And when he's awake, he kind of wants all the attention. So I'm trying to make my life so much easier. And that's why I want you to think of food prep in advance, is making your life easier. So the way that I'm going to do the potatoes is I do have a little steamer that I had for years now. If you don't have a steamer, you could pretty much boil it. So what I'm going to do is cut them up, steam them, and store them. And that way, whenever I want to add them to my air fryer, it'll be a lot easier process. Just because potatoes you can't cut in advance because they will get oxidated. I believe that's how you say it. So what I like to do is I like to start by cutting up my veggies, and here I have containers. Normally I also do protein, but because yesterday was one of our Costco runs, we bought the rotisserie chickens. That just makes life so much easier. I would not be prepping protein because I already have protein prepped in advance. All right, so this is just personal preference, what you decide. I like to have my cucumbers in half and then half. I do cut up my whole cucumbers just because my husband gets to eat this way as well. So it does last roughly anywhere between 3 or 4 days, and they stay pretty fresh in the fridge. All right, so as I am prepping my food, let's go ahead and talk about as well, like having a system or routine set up, which is going to help you really make your life easy, right? That is the goal here. Every Sunday, we have a routine. If you guys watch my Instagram or follow my stories, my husband and I do like to go out for breakfast. We go out for a walk, then we do our food shop, and then we put things away. And one of the things that I notice is sometimes I am super exhausted. Like the last thing I want to do is come and, prep the food, cut up things. But if you get it done, so right now it's like midday, I'm gonna get this done, and then all day I can just chill. So this does make my day and my whole week so much easier. Okay, so bell peppers, I like to use them as well for my salads. I don't add anything to it. So when it comes for veggies to stay fresher longer in your fridge, there are certain veggies, like for example, carrots, you add them in water, or asparagus, you add them in water and they will last a lot longer. But other than that, I don't really have any other tricks besides the fact that if you have your veggies prepped in advance, you're going to eat them, right? Because you're like, well, it's already prepped. I don't have to really cut them up and do something. And I want you to think of like, I've seen this often, and these are conversations I have with my clients sometimes, where they really struggle with not eating something that they have left over. Let's say, for example, they bought a burrito and they only ate half of it. They're like, oh, well, I don't like having food to waste. But one of the things that really changed my perspective around food waste, right? We're not willing to waste that half a burrito, but then we're willing to waste the veggies. If you look at maybe your past history, or maybe something where you're like, oh, I want to eat healthy, and you go like, you get too excited and you buy so many fruits and veggies, and then towards the end of the week, you're like, you end up throwing them away because they went bad. It was because you didn't cut them in advance and you didn't make the effort to eat them, right? So just like that, I have cucumbers, I have bell peppers. Then we're gonna cut up our tomatoes. Tomatoes are one of those things that I definitely don't cut too many of them, just because I do feel like they do go bad a lot faster. So I would recommend only cutting maybe anywhere between 2 to 3, depending on how often you're eating them. But I usually will have more tomatoes in the fridge. I've also gotten food poisoning in the past with pico de gallo, so I don't want to experience that again. That's why it's like, I'll rather just prep a little bit, because like I said, when they're cut up, they are very sensitive, either veggie or fruit. I don't know what people call it, you know. I consider it a veggie, but I know some people, there's like certain things that people like to call certain things veggies and fruits. I don't know. So what we're gonna do here, I already added water to my steamer. Then I'm going to roughly cut up the potatoes. I'm not gonna cut them that small because I don't want them to be mushy. And the only reason I'm doing this is because, like I said, I noticed sometimes I'm eating too many tacos because we don't have carbs in advance. And I noticed that it's just cutting up potatoes seems like a lot of work right now. Like, there's so many things to me that seem like a lot of work. Like the other day I was like, oh, I'll start making my own salsa. And then I realized like, no, that's too much. I can't. If you could do it, great. All props for you. But I honestly have to be realistic with myself and be like, okay, what is easy at this moment? So I'm gonna cut these. And then if you boil these, you can actually let them kind of drain, put them in a Tupperware, and then when you're ready to either put them in the air fryer, then they'll go ahead and get a lot more crispier. These are just so that way they don't go bad, and I can have them in advance cut. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to steam these for about roughly, I wanna say 20 minutes. You kind of just want them half cooked, right? Where they're still a little bit hard. And I'm gonna put these on top. Actually, I would rather have the broccoli cook a little bit more. I am not like a huge fan of broccoli, but every so often I'm like, I've been eating the same veggies over and over, so I do like to add a little bit of variety. And one thing that I realized that really helps with broccoli when it comes to like if you get bloated and gassy because maybe you don't eat it, your body doesn't digest as well when your body's not used to eating it. I noticed that if I overcook it a little bit, that helps a lot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to steam it, so that way if I wanna add a little bit of sauce or something to it, then I'll be completely fine. I'm going to add some salt as well. And that's it. This video, probably under 15 minutes because there was a lot of rambling going around, which I'm gonna edit out. But just like that, I have my tomatoes cut, my bell peppers cut, and then my cucumbers. And let's say I was doing protein, depends on what we're doing. I would normally put tenderloins in the oven, that gets cooked by itself. I would put chicken breast in the Instapot, and that gets cooked by itself. And then the rest of the stuff is like done for me, right? I have lettuce. I've also been buying these snap peas. They taste really good. They're already washed and everything. I just pop them in here just because it makes it easy and it makes me feel like I prepped it. For example, I have a little baggie here, and then what I'm gonna do is add it to the Tupperware. And because I want to eat the old ones first, I'm going to take them out, put the new ones here, put the old ones there. And that's it, super easy. So just wanted to come on here and share a little bit of my Sunday food prep. I do this about 3 times a week. So I do this on the Sunday for sure, Wednesday, and then I do another one for Friday. It's a lot smaller, it's a smaller batch, just because I noticed over the weekend, everybody struggles the weekend. I struggled on the weekend as well. And having food prep in advance really helps me out with staying consistent with my nutrition. And if you guys haven't seen it, I do have my tacos al pastor that I like to do for the weekend. So that way on the weekend, I look forward to eating something different, but it's still delicious and it's still aligned with my goals. Once my potatoes are done, I'll go ahead and show you the whole little setup, and pretty much that's it. It's all done. So here's everything already prepped. I just need to put these in the Tupperware, but I'm gonna wait until they cool down a little bit. And let's go ahead and build a meal so you can see how easy it is to have things already prepped. So let's go ahead and make a quick little meal. So I have here the chicken that I mentioned that I got from Costco. It's already shredded, super easy, simple, and all I'm going to do is warm it up. So I have my scale here. I have my big bowl that I like to do my salads in. Right now I'm doing 3 ounces of my chicken. Okay, chicken's warmed up. I am just going to add my lettuce in here, my bell peppers, the snap peas, tomatoes, cucumber. I know it doesn't look the nicest, but I added the chicken, lettuce, bell pepper, cucumber, snap peas, and then I like to add salsa for my dressing, or as my dressing, I guess. And then I like to add this crema. 1 tablespoon is 25 calories, and that's my meal. So I'm going to have my rice cakes on the side with this, with some peanut butter. That's why I'm not adding any carbs. It's kind of like my little treat, but I just wanted to show you why it's so important to have a food prep day to make your week so much easier. And if you like this type of content, go ahead and give me a follow. And if you're interested on how my week-to-week weight loss phase is going after having a baby, then make sure you subscribe.